Hi everyone, we are excited to have you here in today's fun-filled learning session at Uolo. Here is a quick look at how you can submit your work after the class. As a first step, go to live.uolo.com. You can use any browser to access this site. On this page, you will see a list of all our classes. Scroll down and you can see the Submit Your Work button. And then you will see a list of the classes that you've last attended, which could, for example, show the dance or craft or science experiment classes you've attended recently. Next, it will show you the list of children whose names are registered in this mobile number. Choose your name from this list to submit your work. For instance, if you are Satvik Kumar, choose that name. And then choose the class for which you would like to make your submission. For example, if you've attended the New Year's Masquerade Party session and you'd like to make the submission for this class, click on the Submit Your Work button below that. And then upload the photo you've taken. Choose the image from your phone and click Submit. You can scroll down and view all your past submissions and see how many of your friends or peers have liked your work. You can also see others' work and like their work to inspire your friends. If you want to showcase your work on social media, that too is very simple. Click on Share, copy the link, and post it on Instagram or Facebook or any other platform of your choice. Just a tiny reminder, your submission looks a lot better if you could click a photo in the landscape mode rather than the portrait mode. Do not forget to tag us at YOLO_app. I'm eagerly looking forward to all your submissions right after this class.
Hey there, kids. How are you doing? Welcome to today's class. Today is the second class of our illusion art course that we've been going ahead and doing. Now, in the last class, we went ahead and did a beautiful rectangular shape 3D optical illusion of sorts. And in the next thing that we went ahead and also did was a 3D star. Now, both of those were really, really exciting to go ahead and do. They were fairly technical. So we went ahead and had a lot of, steps and processes, a lot of, line work in terms of going ahead and taking your scale as well as your sketch pen and drawing it out, as well as a lot of shading in order to make it look the way we wanted to go ahead and make it look. Now, we've all done such an amazing job in the last class, and in today's class, we're going to be going ahead and doing something a little different. Now, before we get started with what we're going to go ahead and do in today's class, let's talk about two things. Firstly, the certificate program, and secondly, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about your submissions. Now, coming to your certificate program, like you all know, you're getting certificates for the work that you're going ahead and doing. The only thing that you will have to go ahead and make sure of is first make sure you're going ahead and attending all of your classes of a particular course. You have to go ahead and attend all of your classes in order to get a certificate. For example, this is a 4-part course, so make sure you're attending all 4 classes. The second thing that you have to go ahead and make sure of is to do all of your submissions. So again, 4 classes, 4 submissions, you have to go ahead and do it. Automatically, in the end, you'll get a certificate. Now, apart from your certificate, I've been going ahead and telling you the importance of doing your submissions. I've been going ahead and telling you as to how I want to go ahead and focus on one particular thing, which is going to be to go ahead and see how you are improving. Now, irrespective of how you're doing, in every class, if you've done good, bad, average, you've done an amazing job, irrespective of that, make your submission for every single class, because I, as a teacher, I'm going ahead and looking at those small nitty-gritties. I'm going ahead and looking at how you're doing over time. I'm going ahead and seeing that, okay, you've done this, you've done this, you've done this, and this is where you've gone ahead and improved. And the only way I can sort of judge that is by looking at your submissions. So make sure to go ahead and do all of your submissions on time, so I, as a teacher, can see how you are growing. Now, since you've spoken about all about your certificates and submissions, let's talk about today's class. Now, today's class, we're going to be going ahead and creating a really, really fun 3D illusion, optical illusion staircase. It's an amazing staircase that we've gone ahead and drawn today. So that's what we're going to go ahead and get started with. And the next thing that we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to go ahead and do a bunch of water droplets, and we're going to go ahead and make it look 3D. Now, I hope you're excited for today's class, and let's get started. Now, the first thing that you will need for today's class is going to be a sheet of paper. Now, you can go ahead and take any sheet of paper that you have with you. Here I have a sketchbook or a drawing book, whatever you want to go ahead and call it. You can also take an A4 size sheet of paper, or you can go ahead and take any unrolled sheet of paper you have with you. All of that would work absolutely well. The next thing that you'll need for today's class is going to be a pencil. This is going to be required for going ahead and doing the drawing part of it, as well as a little bit of shading depending on what you want to go ahead and use for your shading. The next thing that you'll need for today's class is going to be a black color marker. Now here I always have a black color marker because it makes it so much easier to go ahead and do our outlines. But if you feel like you want to go ahead and take any other color of a marker, that is, you want to take a red, blue, green, whatever, instead of black, then you can definitely go ahead and take that too. The next thing that you'll need for today's class is going to be a bunch of colors. You can go ahead and take crayons, you can go ahead and take color pencils, you can go ahead and take whatever you like. Last class I use color pencils. In this class as well, I'll be using color pencils as well as crayons. You can go ahead and take whatever you like based on what colors you want to use. Let's say in crayons you don't have all those colors, but in color pencils you have the colors. Then go ahead and take whatever medium that you have for coloring. Now, the first thing that we're going to go ahead and do is do the staircase. Now, in the last class as well, I told you that with illusion art, it might get a little complicated to directly start drawing it with a scale. So what we normally do is we go ahead and take a pencil, do a rough sketch, then take our scale as well as our black marker and make all of the lines crisp and neat. So that's exactly what we're going to be going ahead and doing today as well. So first step is going to be to take our pencil and start drawing two lines like so. So first I'm going ahead and drawing a top slanting line, and then I'm going ahead and doing a bottom slanting line. Then what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and draw a side line, mark that out, and then do another slanting line and another slanting line. So what you're doing basically is sort of creating like an arrow shape, I would say. If you look at it, it looks almost like an arrow, as you can see. The tip of the arrow, I would say, probably. So this is the first step. You want to just go ahead and have two lines coming downwards and then two lines coming on the other side. And then you want to have a top and a bottom line. Now here again, like I mentioned, if you don't want to go ahead and like I said, going ahead and doing it with the scale might be a little hard, so you don't have to directly go ahead and do it with the scale. And if you feel some places your lines are not looking neat, or in some places it's not looking very crisp, completely all right, don't worry about it, because in the next class, when you in the next process, when you go ahead and do it with your sketch pen, automatically you'll be using a scale and your drawing will start looking much nicer. So good job, everybody. Really well done. Perfect. All right, so I can see all of you have gone ahead and finished this up. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and create sort of like a double line for this. So we've gone ahead and created the outside line. Now we're just going to go ahead and repeat the whole thing on the inside. Now here, just notice one thing. I'm going to keep an equidistant gap from whichever side I'm taking my line. So you can basically take it as they're all parallel lines, whether it's the top to the second line that I've gone ahead and done, they're all always going to be parallel lines. Don't make them too slanting or too straight or anything, then it'll end up looking weird. Just make sure you're going ahead and having it as parallel as possible. Perfect, everybody. Really, really well done. Good job. Perfect. Amazing work. Good job. Don't worry about whether it is looking perfect or not. Like you can see with mine as well, in some spots my line are not equidistant, or some lines are not as straight as I would like, and that's completely all right. Perfect, everybody. Excellent work. All right, good. Everybody's done such an amazing job. Now what I want you to do is take your scale and draw a straight line coming down. So the first 2 points on this side, as you can see, I went ahead and did a straight line. Now again, if you want to freehand this, you can definitely go ahead and freehand this. But this I wanted to do with the scale because I didn't want to get a little confused later on by doing a few double lines, triple lines. Sometimes when I'm straightening my line out, I might end up doing a couple of rounds in it, and I didn't want to do that. And hence I did it with a scale. Perfect, everybody. Really well done. All right, good job. Now let's go ahead and draw some parallel lines which are sweeping rather than standing. So here you can see I'm just going ahead and doing a bunch of lines. Make sure they're all equidistant lines and you don't want to have them in different distances. Perfect. Really, really well done, everybody. Good job. Perfect. Now here sometimes it might not be very, very equidistant. That is, on top it might be equidistant, but in the bottom it might not be equidistant. But don't worry about it. It's completely all right if you're going ahead and doing it in different ways. No problem for that whatsoever. All right, good job, everybody. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and start drawing sort of like small triangles. So look at what I'm going ahead and doing right here. I'm going ahead and doing slanting lines in order to create triangles. So here you can see simple triangles. So I'm using two lines and I'm drawing the triangle. And what we'll be doing is we'll be joining that center gap that is there all the way till the bottom in order to create sort of that staircase look. So look at how already it's looking like a staircase. So if you look at it right now, you can see that it looks like, the wall is sort of coming out and then they have the staircase in the center. So that's the effect that you want to go ahead and get. Perfect, everybody. Really well done. Good job. Excellent, excellent work. So in this again, if you've not got it perfect, don't worry. Even mine is not at all perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking my black marker, using my scale and correcting all of those bits out. So do not worry whatsoever. All right, great. So I can see all of you have gone ahead and finished this up. You've done such an excellent job. Now you can go ahead and take a color of your choice. I felt like, using black had a really good effect and it made it look really, really nice. But you don't want to go ahead and do black and you want to make it really, really colorful, then you can definitely go ahead and take a color of your choice. You don't have to use black. I'm going ahead and using black and I'm going to go ahead and start off with my sketch pen. If you feel like you want to go ahead and do it probably even with a black pen instead of doing it with a sketch pen, that also works. Now one thing to go ahead and notice is I'm always going ahead and doing all of my lines as parallel as possible. I do not want my lines to be not parallel, so I'm just checking that as I go and I'm taking my time to go ahead and do this. Do it slowly. If you need to go ahead and do it, you don't have to rush into it. Just do it peacefully and nicely. Good job, everybody. Really well done. Excellent work. So here you can see I'm just checking that all of it is parallel, and in some places I've gone off. So I will go ahead and correct that as I go. Perfect. My outside lines weren't necessarily that bad when it comes to my how parallel they were, but my inside lines were not parallel at all and were not equidistant at all. So there I will go ahead and correct it out much more. Now, in the same manner, sometimes you might end up having a outside, looking not as parallel and not as neat, but your inside may be perfect. So make sure you go ahead and check out whichever is working the best and do it. So here you can see when it comes to my lines, they are not parallel. So I'm going to go ahead and start making all of them parallel. Good job, everybody. Really well done. Do it neatly. Take your time in doing this. Perfect. Good job, everybody. Really well done. Excellent work. Perfect, everybody. Really well done. And once I have finished up with all of these lines, I will do the same exact things of doing the triangles like I did earlier on in order to make it look nice and complete. So as you can see, now it's looking like an amazing staircase. Perfect. And there we go. You can see already it's looking so 3D. Now here, once you've gone ahead and finished this up, you can go ahead and color it if you like. If you feel like, no, I do not want to go ahead and color it, I really like the way it already looks, then you can go ahead and leave it like this by all means. Make sure to go ahead and do it the way you want to go ahead and do it. I will be adding in some color, so you can follow through with that if you want, or if you don't want, that's also completely all right. Now I'm just going to wait here for a second, making sure all of you are caught up to this point, and then we can go ahead and move on to the next step. Perfect, everybody. Really well done. Excellent work. Good job. Amazing. Perfect. All right, so I can see all of you have gone ahead and finished up till this point. So what we can do now is we can move on to the next step, which is going to be to go ahead and do the coloring and shading part of this. Like I mentioned, you want to skip this part, go for it. If you want to go ahead and follow through like I am, you can go ahead and do so. So the first thing that I'm doing is in that gap, I'm going ahead and taking my black color sketch pen and I'm coloring it all in. Now, if you feel like you want to go ahead and use a color pencil or a crayon for doing this, you can go ahead and do this. Just make sure whatever color sketch pen you have gone ahead and used for the whole drawing, you go ahead and use for coloring that portion, because that's what's going to give you the 3D illusion. So whatever color you have used throughout, that's the same color you'll go ahead and use for the whole coloring portion of it. Perfect. Really, really, really well done, everybody. Good job. Perfect. Amazing work. All right. And now what you want to go ahead and do is again take a color of your choice, and alternatingly I'm going to go ahead and shade those lines. Now this is going to give a little bit more of a 3D look to my staircase. It's going to make it look more realistic. If you don't want to go ahead and do this, you can completely skip on this. You don't have to necessarily do this. Perfect, everybody. Excellent work. So as you can see, look at how 3D that staircase is looking. How amazing. Good job, everybody. Really well done. Perfect. Amazing work, everybody. Really well done. Good job. Now the last step for this piece is going to be to go ahead and do two lines. Now this part is absolutely optional. If you feel like you do not want to go ahead and do this, then you can completely go ahead and skip on it. Perfect, everybody. Really well done. All right. Now we've gone ahead and finished up with our staircase, and now we can go ahead and move on to our water droplets. Now coming to your water droplets, I'm going to be going ahead and sticking to normal water droplets. I'm not picking any shape, but you can go ahead and do this in any shape that you like. Let's say you want to go ahead and do it in a heart shape, you want to go ahead and do probably a paw print, you want to go ahead and do whatever. You can definitely go ahead and play around it a bit and make it look, really, really nice and pretty. But what I'm going to be going ahead and doing is just doing normal droplets. Start off with normal droplets today, and at home probably you can go ahead and do another shape of your choice. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start drawing the water droplets. What I've done is I've divided my sheet of paper into two in order to have sort of like a boundary where I have my staircase and my water droplets. So what I'm going ahead and doing is I'm drawing a bunch of water droplets first. So here you can see I'm going ahead and drawing a few right next to each other. Now make sure just of one thing when you're drawing your water droplets is to not go ahead and draw them too close to each other. Make sure you have a little bit of gap between each water droplet, because you're going to be going ahead and doing shading, and you need some space while going ahead and doing shading. You don't want them to be all cramped up with each other. So make sure you're giving a little bit of space while going ahead and doing so. Perfect. Really well done. Good job, everybody. Really well done. Perfect. All right, so while you're going ahead and doing this, I'm going to go ahead and explain the technique that we're going to be following for doing your shading of the droplets. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be picking one side for doing shading inside, and we're going to be going ahead and picking another side for going ahead and doing shading on the outside. So what I'm going to be going ahead and doing is on my left hand side, I'm going to be going ahead and doing my shading on the inside, versus on my right hand side, I'm going to be going ahead and doing shading on the outside. Now, when it comes to the shading, you can go ahead and follow the concept of doing light, medium, dark. That is, for going ahead and doing dark, you need to put a lot of pressure on your paper with your pencil or your color pencil, whatever you're using. If you're going ahead and doing medium, you want to put a little lesser pressure, and for light, you're going ahead and doing far lesser pressure. Now you can go ahead and follow this technique for doing both inside and outside, or you can just go ahead and do normal coloring. That will work absolutely well as well. It will still give you that 3D look and that illusion that you want to go ahead and get. So work with whatever you prefer. Now, if you're still confused on what I am talking about, then watch how I do one droplet, and then you will understand, and then we can move ahead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my color pencil. Now in the previous thing I went ahead and used a crayon, but with the color pencil, what will happen is I'll have more precision to work with. So if you have like a good big crayon and you can go ahead and sharpen it, go ahead and sharpen it and use that as well. My crayon are really, really tiny, so I can't go ahead and sharpen them and use them for my shading. So I'm using a color pencil. Use whatever you have, you'll get absolutely the same effect. You can also directly use a pencil as well. It'll look amazing if you go ahead and do that as well. So like I mentioned, I'm going ahead and doing shading on one side, which is I'm going ahead and doing it on my left hand side. So here I'm trying to make my shading as neat as possible. If you feel like no, you can't make it as neat, that's also completely all right. So here you can see I've gone ahead and done the inside shading of one. Go ahead and get started with this for now. So I'm going ahead and doing all of it in the same technique. Take your time while you're going ahead and doing it. Don't rush into it. It might get really complicated and hard if you're trying to rush into it. So take your time and do your coloring and shading. If you're not getting the shading technique, then you can just go ahead and do basic coloring as well. Just make sure you're adding color only on one side, like how I am doing right here. Good job, everybody. Really well done. So even for the tiny ones, I'm following the same technique. If you feel like the tiny ones are very hard to color or shade in, you can definitely erase them and make them bigger and do that as well. Do whatever suits you best. Perfect, everybody. Really well done. Amazing work. Good job. Good job, everybody. Really, really well done. So take your time when you're going ahead and coloring this. Make sure you're going ahead and doing a really, really good job. Perfect. Excellent, excellent work, everybody. Good, perfect. So this is exactly where you should be at, wherein you've gone ahead and colored one side out and you've not gone ahead and colored the other side out. Now I can see some of you have gone ahead and done many more droplets as compared to how many I have gone ahead and it done. So you can go ahead and take your time while doing this, but I'm going to go ahead and show you the next step to work with, so that once you're done with that step, you can go ahead and continue with the step you have to do next. So like I was saying, now one side we've gone ahead and done inside. So now we're going to go ahead and do it on the outside. So you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and take my color and start coloring on the outside over here. Now, how much you want to go ahead and color is completely up to you. If you want to go ahead and do a very, very long shadow, then you can do a lot of coloring on the outside. But if you feel like, no, I'm fine with a cute short shadow, then you can go ahead and do a short one. I'm going to be going ahead and sticking to a short one, because otherwise it'll be too time consuming, and not doing it so short in which it doesn't look 3D enough, just doing it optimally so that you get that 3D look there. So as you can see, the side that I've not gone ahead and colored, I'm adding in that shading on the outside. Now here, even if you don't go ahead and do a curved shading like how I am doing, it'll completely look nice. It'll still look beautiful. Even if you do just a simple slight shading along that curve, it'll look really, really nice. So don't really worry about, am I able to do the shading the way I am doing it? Is it like perfect? Is it not perfect? Don't really worry about that. Look at how 3D already this is looking. It's looking so beautiful and amazing. Good job, everybody. Really well done. Perfect. Excellent work. So I just noticed that I skipped one completely. So make sure you don't skip any. So as you can see here, I have gone ahead and skipped that one. Don't make sure you don't go ahead and skip it. All right. So as you can see how my picture is looking, you can already see the how 3D it's looking. If I had done that last one, then it would be looking completely 3D and it's looking so wonderful. Now here again, you can go ahead and take your time while doing this because some of you have more droplets than I have, but understand what we're going to go ahead and do next. Now, if you want to skip on this, you can skip on this, but if you want to go ahead and do it, then absolutely go ahead and do it. It adds a beautiful effect. So what you can go ahead and do for the next one is you have three options. One is you can go ahead and use an eraser. Second thing, you can go ahead and use a white pen if you have one. Or third, you can go ahead and use a little bit of paint. You go ahead and use whatever you prefer, whichever technique you like the best. But the idea is wherever you've gone ahead and done that dark coloring or shading on the inside of the droplet, you want to go ahead and add in sort of like a dot or a line of a white in order to give sort of like a highlight. Now, what will happen once you do that? It will give your picture a very good, a very nice, highlighted, beautiful look. So make sure you go ahead and get into doing that. So I'm going to be going ahead and using paint, and I'm going ahead and just doing simple like lines and dots. If you want to go ahead and do, it with an eraser, then you just have to go ahead and erase that little bit of that out. Or if you have some paint with you, then paint is the easiest to do. It's just so simple to go ahead and add in a bunch of dots right there. So you can see how 3D that's already looking. I'm just going to go ahead and do a second layer of white on top in order to make it look really bright and make it look really 3D. Perfect, everybody. Really well done. And there you can see how beautiful and amazing this is looking. Don't these droplets look completely realistic? Good job. Now, what you can do right now, I can see most of you are still going ahead and coloring and still have this highlight bit to go ahead and do is to grab a picture of what I've gone ahead and done so that you can go ahead and refer to that later on. Perfect. All right, excellent work, everybody. You have done such an amazing job today. It looks so beautiful, looks so wonderful. Now, if you've gone ahead and finished up with me right now, then click a picture and upload it. If you haven't, then go ahead and finish it up and then click a picture and upload your work and do your submission on that time. So you've all done such amazing work, like I already mentioned. Make sure to go ahead and get this certificate while you can. So just make sure that 4 classes you have to attend, 4 submissions you have to do, automatically you'll get a certificate. So make sure you get your submission whenever you can. Second thing to remember is irrespective of how you've done, good, bad, average, very good, make sure to do your submission irrespective. Now, in the next class, we're going to be going ahead and doing something more fun when it comes to our illusion and 3D art. And it's going to be something different from what we have done in today's class and in the previous class. So make sure to go ahead and attend that third class as well. I will see you then. And until then, bye-bye and have a look at the submission video.
Hi everyone, we are excited to have you here in today's fun-filled learning session at Uolo. Here is a quick look at how you can submit your work after the class. As a first step, go to live.uolo.com. You can use any browser to access this site. On this page, you will see a list of all our classes. Scroll down and you can see the Submit Your Work button. And then you will see a list of the classes that you've last attended, which could, for example, show the dance or craft or science experiment classes you've attended recently. Next, it will show you the list of children whose names are registered in this mobile number. Choose your name from this list to submit your work. For instance, if you are Satvik Kumar, choose that name. And then choose the class for which you would like to make your submission. For example, if you've attended the New Year's Masquerade Party session and you'd like to make the submission for this class, click on the Submit Your Work button below that. And then upload the photo you've taken. Choose the image from your phone and click Submit. You can scroll down and view all your past submissions and see how many of your friends or peers have liked your work. You can also see others' work and like their work to inspire your friends. If you want to showcase your work on social media, that too is very simple. Click on Share, copy the link and post it on Instagram or Facebook or any other platform of your choice. Just a tiny reminder, your submission looks a lot better if you could click a photo in the landscape mode rather than the portrait mode. Do not forget to tag us at Uolo_app. I'm eagerly looking forward to all your